everybody. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
Jake.
We're here on the front lines. On another day gone by, and we're here starting with a whole new set of events that have been going on. Brexit deal postponed. The 600 emails of Hillary Clinton are deemed to have a problem by the State Department. Hey, they found the emails, or what? you know.
So, yeah, apparently nobody talked about how that happened.
Yeah, I was like, oh, where those emails come from? So all of those things are happening, and still we also have also someone else that I was looking at, Dave Hodges, as I've been watching his channel, and because I dropped the information into his chat room, seeing if we can get confirmation about the 2,100 children that were rescued by the Marines. And he also says that he's checked with his sources and he can't find any corroboration about those 2,100 children being rescued. So, yeah, so it's interesting when we're here in the alternative media and we run with the story, so to speak, and we have to fact check afterwards. But that's okay. Exactly what CNN does anyway.
Well, they fact check?
Well, afterwards, and they do retractions the next day. So, I mean, there's many of those that have happened. But that's probably more because they just wanted to say these things that they knew weren't true. And then they'll reverse it the next day.
Yeah, everybody knows the first thing you say is what comes out, and the second thing isn't nearly as impactful, right?
So anyway, that's what's going on there. But have you found any other information?
My personal Pentagon sources have not been able to confirm it, and then I have three other, first, second-hand sources that have not been able to confirm it. I have two members of the task force itself who we're in touch with, and they're going to let me know. They're a little more, covert operations, so some of those we have to meet with in person.
Okay.
So we'll see, but it's we were referencing Timothy Holmesett and Abel Danger. We'll make sure to give them the credit.
Yeah, make sure you give them credit. Yeah.
Make sure they have credit. So whether it's right or wrong, getting credit, that's what it means. So
yeah, that's the important thing.
It could very well be an effort to discredit Timothy Holmesett. Would not surprise me if you were looking at it from a standpoint of, he holds evidence against Vice President Pence, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And you said.
Oh yeah, the new information about Pence is that he started his own PAC to collect money to run for president, and he's received money already. So, there's always these people running in to become president to hide from prosecution. Is he doing it because of that reason? Hard to say.
It's hard to say. So, but Timothy Holmesett, obviously he had to. He's kind of on the lam, right? He's supposed to show up to court in Minnesota. They brought false allegations against him, I guess, and then they tried to rope him into some kind of court case, an early hearing before the hearing, right? So they could just take away his rights. And then we have another kind of source that says that he was being, taken and being reprogrammed. But it doesn't mean to say that he doesn't have good sources or he doesn't mean well. But
he might have been set up. He might have been set up.
He might have been set up. Yeah. Let's hope not. Look. Yeah, I'm not for anybody who's trying to do the right thing, going down. Like, I hate they discredit somebody who's, a good person. And this is pretty normal, right? On a regular basis, I have people who, they run a Google search on me or Cam, and they're like, well, we did some background checks. No, you didn't. You ran a Google search. If you did a real background check, you would know if you had the access. So immediately that lets me know that they have no power to do anything real. So it's always laughable to me.
Yeah.
But
I remember I had people say that about me, and I said, "What about this?" Or, and they always go back. It, always goes back to in the last few years. It's always been, "What about you and Swiss Index?" Because it comes up, scam, and I go, "All right, well, once you dig back further, when you go back like 20 years, you'll find stuff on me on the internet from 20 years ago." Buying a subsidiary of Gateway Computers. How about that? Well, why don't you go back to developing software that worked to save the Titanic film from sinking. When you go back to developing a multi-processor render farm with Samsung with the DEC Alpha processors. I've got stuff that made it into the news. Oh, making a motion picture film back that goes directly from computer images into 65 millimeter Vistaprint, which the only other place that could do that was Lucas and Industrial Light and Magic. That was my competitors. Wow. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got on a little soapbox there. Sorry. But these people, they do a Google search and they find, oh, you went and did an interview with M1. You must be a scammer because you say that's M1. And they don't even know what M1 is. They don't understand it. So, but that's okay. It's funny to see that this is the amount of digging that people do about things, right? Their level of
they do they type in your name into Google and they look at the first page and then they've already made their decision.
Well, Google is very successful in washing your brain then.
Yeah.
Right, that's
washing your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want to basically put it on rinse. Make sure there's no intelligence left in there.
Yeah. Whatever happens, it cannot allow people to make decisions for themselves. I gotta say, I heard RFK Jr., who's really the leading voice against vaccines, in the world of attorneys, right? And I guess it's up in Albany somewhere. It looks recent because I hadn't seen this one before, but basically he was speaking about it, and they asserted their right to assemble. So it was like a bunch of parents, right? And he speaks, and much more impressive than any other speech I've heard him do. It was completely ad hoc. I mean, it was like somebody's phone, like they didn't have anything real solid to like speakers or anything. And man, he nailed it. I'll tell you what, he did a great job. I was really impressed. It's really he talks about exactly what's happening, and he talks about how the CDC gets a kickback on every single vaccine that's given to kids, right, or given to anyone, and that the senior executives actually make $150,000 a year. They're allotted that much money to make in kickbacks, and he makes these great points. He says, now how can you have a regulatory authority who's getting paid, objectively, to be objective for the safety of drugs that have never been tested? And he repeats this over and over again. He says, these drugs are not tested against a placebo. You don't even know if there's a benefit. How can we justify imposing these on anyone? Right? It doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Which, but it's like, and the way you can justify it is if, there's a secret Nazi eugenics agenda, right? That's how you justify it, right? You make it okay. That way.
And then just a little side note, because of this is the story that is actually hidden in the Joe Biden, Ukraine, morass that they're throwing at us, dealing with Hunter Biden, and it's just all of the other senators, had their representatives. It was now Romney is in it as well. I think it's his assistant or something like that was also in there with. I don't know if he's on the same energy board or not, but it seems like it's a whole cabal pardon the phrase, of U.S. government officials sending their representatives to be part of this scam. Well, that's great, wonderful. But behind the scenes, the people that were there, that they were all supporting, were all Nazis, literal Nazis from the time of World War II, Nazi Germany, and that system of Nazism, persists there, and those were the people they were supporting. That's who they were putting into power, were the Nazis. The hidden story behind all of this. So again, back to where we're dealing with eugenics, systems and things that they put in place with these vaccines, right? It's just because we're really just still fighting this Nazi problem, and it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. I mean, other than he's the one fighting it.
Right. Right. I mean, other than just by his observation of it and calling it out, makes it immediately a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting communism, Nazis, and the cabal and the financial system. I mean, just throw another ball in the air while he juggles, right? And he just keeps getting younger while in office, right? Oh, he's juggling.
He must be on the full beat protocol, right? So he's
I think he's on the orange protocol.
Yeah, the orange protocol, right? Probably.
Yeah, so give me a rim shot there.
Yeah, it's a non-stop process, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. So these things keep going. So RFK, vaccines, he starts talking about it, and he's like now what they've done, right? Taking a step further, doctors can't even make an assessment, right? So if a child is actually allergic to things that are in the vaccines, right? He by law he still has to give it to them, even though it can literally send them an anaphylactic shock. So a doctor doesn't even have the right to do anything anymore.
It's sanity.
And 50% of the doctor's income has been now, basically subsidized by vaccines, right? Like from pediatricians. And so it's kind of crazy when you think about it, because what was happening for a long time is the independent physician was being bought up by larger conglomerates so that they could control what drugs were prescribed. Mm-hmm. To make sure that we're all getting the same protocol, so we all, they have us from the cradle to the grave. Now, what I find to be fascinating about all this is that, one, you always want to know, okay, and what? What does that mean? And so what? What are you going to do about it, right? Because as you recognize a clandestine plot to, genocide the population, are we ever going to talk about it? I mean, we're just going to keep, tiptoeing around it, being like, well, I don't know, be politically correct about everything, right? Just keep pretending like that's not what's happening, or is it going to finally be addressed and be like, hey, listen, the United Nations has been trying to take over the world, and
by the way, they were set up by the Rothschilds. Really? You're a conspiracy theorist.
Actually, if you just did an ounce of research, you would find that is in fact true. And the same group owns the CDC, the FDA, the WHO. My voice is going. What's going on there? Yeah, World Health Organization. So, but I'll tell you something. This morning I was, kind of going back and forth with Kim on some things, right? And there is lots of, that I guess 750,000 of these hybrids that were controlling all types of stuff. I don't even know where they existed or what they were doing, but I guess they were eliminated. And and I'm assuming that has something to do with banking, right? Because that's kind of what happened, right? They were causing problems because they were still threatening and convincing or doing whatever they were doing to prevent and block funds, right?
Right.
And one of my intuitive seers, right? She told me that she got a message for me, and she's been really, really accurate, like scary accurate, right? Like the thing with Kim. Like she's told me things like when I need to talk to Kim, and I'll go in and check my messages, and Kim will just message me, right? And So she told me that the message she got this morning was death is at their door. Right? So I told Kim, right? So Kim said, she goes, oh, she got a message too. And her message was this, that when the walls of Jericho are at your feet, you will know that it was me.
Whoa.
I was like, that's the most badass thing I ever heard in my life. I had that tattooed on my back. I thought that was awesome. So
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Okay, then. So I guess God is on our side. You know, that's the impression I get.
Oh, you hear the trumpets?
It's all about frequency, man. The Bible proves it, right? Marched
Right.
around the walls of Jericho, marched around, and then just one mighty roar. The right frequency hit the tone and brought the whole walls down. So you know what? I take that as a sign that we should keep our energy in the frequency of empowerment and love and peace, and basically just starve your enemy out, and we'll bring the walls of Jericho down.
I'm ready. Let's just start the vibration now. Let them start tumbling.
The plot thickens, right? And so now Timothy Homestead is adamant, right, that he spoke to the Secret Service and these 2,100 kids were rescued, right? Now, I feel like that's kind of that really could be a setup, you know? It's this guy's getting raked all over the place, though, right? But I mean, I guess, and then he blew up the gentleman I spoke to, Craig Sawyer, and tried to say he's high up in the deep state. And so as soon as he says that, I'm like, well, you're compromised then, because, I'm pretty familiar with the language of the high up in the deep state guys, and the same bullshit they all say. And this guy didn't have any of that, Well, I talked to him directly,
Mm-hmm.
Now I haven't done a deep dive into him or anything, but just based on my vibe from him and the language that I'm used to hearing, seems legit to me. More so than Timothy Holmes says. Now Timothy Holmes says, might be legit. By the way, I'm just saying, but I know anybody who's still adamantly vouching for the RV, Able Danger, that usually means they have really good sources, right? That are
Really good.
Giving them that.
So good that
Right.
they're right every single day.
Right. But I mean, so they're getting information like that, right, from their very good sources. And usually, when I find out what their very good sources are, they're definitely people I've spoken to before, or on a level I've certainly spoken to before. And I know for a fact that all of the disinformation comes from the same group of the Chinese elders, / Rothschilds, / what is it, 5-Star Trust, or whatever it's called. And when that comes out, I immediately know that that's never going to happen. I mean, you can pretty much take it to the bank. Whatever they tell you, it's never going to happen. So can't really trust that intel.
Right. Well, I mean, it's been so reliable so far.
Yes. Well, they're also they're masterful at blaming that on us, right? They flip that.
Us, me and you?
Well, that's because
It was us?
not us personally. No, not us, but just the people, right? They always flip it and say, it's 'cause
I
you're
thought it was me and
vibrational,
you.
right?
We did it. We're the problem.
Yeah, well, I am actually very much a part of preventing the RV, right?
Yes.
Because that equals zombie apocalypse. So,
Yes. So, bad us.
yeah.
Oh, we're bad. No zombie apocalypse for us.
I know. If we would just get behind the mission, a few people could have a couple really good days, and then the apocalypse starts. So exciting stuff today.
Yeah, it is. So what else is coming on from Kim? Anything other than the walls of Jericho coming down? That's good enough.
Well, she was working on the gatekeeper stuff, which I guess she figured out mostly, and then she spent she looks like she was doing transfers late in the day on Friday, which can be a good thing, I guess. If you're doing transfers late in the week, they should clear without much resistance, you would think, I guess. I'm not sure the exact logic, but I guess a couple of smaller banks got blocked, and then one of the larger banks was able to get through directly to the accounts again, which is huge. And then that was supposed to clear today, or clear overnight, but I have not heard if that cleared.
Okay.
I know it did not clear my account, but it doesn't mean that it's not there either, to be honest. Very well could be. The smoke and mirrors of the banking system is, always a fun game to play. But
it's in compliance. But
like I said, when the walls of Jericho are at your feet, then you'll know it was me. Man, that is like. so I guess we'll see. I do know that obviously Kim is taking a very different stance, right, at this point, where you have the other groups that are here are clearly in support of this transition, because they really can't leave and be free, even though they had their Independence Day, right, until we're free too, So now this is kind of like a domestic dispute, right, between us and the other humans, or part humans, or whatever they are, that hate humanity, right? Who want to be in charge. So can't be too far off. Definitely, I'd say days to hours away. Couldn't really be done right now, to be honest.
Well, that would be good. I'm just thinking the other groups, that are, kind of hanging out waiting, and there's a domestic dispute. Do you have a sheriff that comes in, walks in and just, separates the two, and, puts the belligerent one in a holding cell for, 24 hours?
I don't know. I mean, I think, there has to be some kind of plan, right, in the collective consciousness and awareness of people, right? Because at this point, this is the first time I feel like you really have a sway that feels like it's more accurate, right? There seems to be a real effort to get the truth out there, right? And to the point where it's like everyone's kind of like, "Are you kidding?" It just seems like there's a collective awareness for the first time.
It crossed my mind earlier today, though, that maybe we should do like another, review of, like a GCR review, where it's the status update. We're kind of joking around a bit before. We've been pretty heavy on going in and analyzing what they're saying. Maybe we should do another one of those, Local Restored Republic via the GCR, and see what they're saying. See if it's any different than it was when we last covered it, which was probably, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I don't know. It's been a while.
Oh, here, let's see what Intel in our Chronicle says. I'm sure it's probably happening right now. The GCR is probably already happening.
Well, yeah. I thought that, the 17th was a special day. My birthday, besides, but, Restored Republic via the GCR.
Let's see. Some facts about Zionism. No. The secret is transparency. Interesting. That's probably right. Jared Rand's global meditation. Big swear. Nothing really exciting. I know I did get contacted by some random people who wanted to know what was going on with the RV. When is currency going to be valued? And I was like, are you even paying attention? So, I guess we'll see. No, it doesn't look like anything that's. Oh, here's the Restored Republic report. Let's see. Um, compiled by Judy Byington. Okay. Let's see here.
Yeah, I've got one on the audio. If you want to, I can play it.
Yeah, go ahead. Play it up.
Restored Republic via the GCR update as of October 18th, 2019. The below is a summary of information from the internet. It would be up to the individual reader to do their own research and decide whether or not it is valid. 15th, the President signed an executive order to make sure we wouldn't have taxation on our exchanges. 2. There was reason to believe that things were moving throughout the night tonight, Thursday, October 17th. 3. Bruce was told that they were in the process of finishing audits and email checks for Tier 4 and those audits would be completed tonight or in the morning, Friday, October 18th. 4. Multiple sources have said we would get notified tonight or tomorrow, Friday, October 18th, on the reset. 5. This was supposed to be a daytime event. 6. Redemption Center staff were told to come in early in the morning at 6 a.m. Friday, October 18th, so we could get a morning start for 800 numbers, or even appointments. 7. That start could be around 10:30 a.m. to noon EDT tomorrow morning, Friday, October 18th, as they waited for the West Coast to wake up. 8. Many thousands of bank accounts have been being frozen across the globe as they caught the bad guys. Those account freezing should be completed by 5 o'clock or 6 p.m. EDT today, Thursday, October 17th. 9. A lot of things were happening behind the scenes, a lot of things done to protect our exchanges. 10. The bank balance died with closure of the SWIFT system, so our banks were now safe. 11. The new USTN was gold-backed and equal with the gold in our new US Treasury. 12. ZIMP was now live and being transacted in Hong Kong, Zurich, and Europe. 13.
I just stop it there because it's 18 minutes long. I don't know. It sounds like the same report that last time we listened to, which was 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, I can give you the whole report right now in about one sentence. Information from Mark Z. He could not share, indicated that we would be well on our way during the month of October. Zurich and South Africa were still saying any moment. Iraq would go within the next week if the U.S. had not by then. Okay, as far as I know, Iraq I RV'd like 3 years ago, and 5 years ago, and 7 years ago. So I guess that's just taking a long time to.
They just have to get onto the world, markets with their currency, right? I mean, what's the holdup there? It's like, why can't it go? Why can't they float their currency on the forex?
It's a good point.
I mean, what's the issue? I mean, I can get it. While there was Obama in office, or Bush in the office, or Clinton in the office, that they're all part of the cabal, and they're keeping it from happening. And here's something else interesting. They didn't even mention Brexit. So Brexit has shut down England. The center of the financial world of England is basically shut down. Nothing is happening. So they can't even move in the streets there because of all of the people protesting Brexit. As the Parliament went to the Parliament yesterday. But all week long they had meetings with the governor of the Bank of England, with everyone who had a license to be in there as an entity. They all. I mean, can you imagine? Does this exist on a normal week? No. So, but the GCR, pays no attention to this event, right? Everything's just moving forward as normal, although nothing would ever be able to be moved at all with London shut down.
No. I mean, definitely not through the traditional channels of control.
Well, they are the other three cities. They control the finance, so there would be.
Well, also, I mean, the belief is that China's going to be in control, right? So that would have to go through the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and obviously Hong Kong is a crime scene, right?
Right.
And also in France, I mean, I saw videos today of people just running unarmed as cops were pulling up in vans and jumping out just to beat random people. I mean, and there was no logic to it. It was just random people running by and they were just wailing them with a baton. And I was like, what is going on there? What happened? You know, they're just slugging at people randomly. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's just amazing that this is still at this level. You know, that people are thinking that, you know, the GCR, the same rhetoric. I mean, I'm not saying anything in the group that they pulled me into in this GCR group on Telegram. You know, I peek at what they're doing, and I resist saying anything because they're you know, happy, you know, talking about the same stuff over and over again. All right. It's
Well, I have not gone to Chronicles until just now in over a year, probably.
You're not banned
But I
from
get
the
reports.
website.
You know.
They don't know that you're looking
No,
at it.
I don't know. You know, I do get banned quite a few places. I mean, I think you know, they're pretty open there. And plus, the guy who runs the site, you know, we've talked a few times because there was this guy who used to be his tag name was One Who Believes, right? And then this galactic guy Zora, who I believe was overtaken by an evil guy named Zoro, right? And Zoro or Zora, I'm not sure. It's all a little confusing to me, but he told One Who Knows or One Who Believes. He said, "No, you are One Who Knows." And once that happened, One Who Knows kind of lost his mind, right? And for a while, and really started to think he was very important. And so he started making threats because I think he tapped into a frequency that basically like the voice of God satellite was telling him crazy stuff. So he started making threats saying he was going to out the cabal. And it was very important, right? And he and I had talked about it. And, you know, he seemed like for a while, all he did was just repost my intel and Yosef's intel. That's all he did. So then he started saying that like Fisher, who was very well connected, you know, like used to work with like the Majestic 12 and was over the death squads and things like that, you know. And he's like the kind of guy that would just tell you everything. Like, he just seemed to always have an answer for every question. And then Dr. WC and me, and he basically put like pictures of like tombstones, right, and said that there is a shoot to kill order out on all the cabal right now. That's what he said, right? And then called us cabal, like me and the others. And then he disappeared after that suddenly. And when talking to Fisher,
He must have been the cabal.
Well, yeah, Fisher, you know, was pretty well connected to the still even in retirement had some say with, you know, hits that would go out. He would never say that directly, but that's basically what he said, and he did tell me that he was eliminated. So I don't know. I haven't heard from him since.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, so when he was making these horrible death threats about me, the guy on the site, like, people were standing up, like, going, "Dude, what are you doing? You can't." Like, this guy is threatening everybody, particularly with Tank, right? And so I said to him, so I started posting right after he said I was cabal and I was gonna be killed. I started like posting like every couple of hours. I mean, like 2 o'clock, I'm still alive. 4 o'clock, I'm still alive, right? Like just to make a point, like, you know, One Who Knows doesn't know jack. And then he wouldn't post my stuff anymore. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, you're gonna let this guy post death threats about me, but like I can't post I'm alive. So, but otherwise we were cool. And then one of our guys, you know, for the Speak Project, ran something about him, about the owner of the site. I mean, really nasty, like funny, but nasty. Yeah. And he was so offended. He's like, "Can you please have him take it down?" I'm like, "Yes," because that's what you do. You do the right thing. You know, like, I don't want us to get associated with saying really aggressive things about people. So we took it down. So, you know, and he's been accommodating to me when I asked him to take something down that put a name in there accidentally, someone we didn't want named. But, you know, so I don't know. I mean, like, he runs out of the Philippines, the IDC. You know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yep. Actually, and there's also Operation Disclosure, which are both his sites. And Yosef has like some weird connection with both of them because, like, you know, Yosef, everybody out there used to be this secret guru who'd come out. Yeah, I think his name was he was like really, really secretive, right? And kind of like the way Blue Wolf would come out and drop something, but it was like that kind of a statement. But it wasn't Blue Wolf. It was shoot. But anyways, it was really Yosef, right?
Yeah.
And one post, like the last post this guy wrote, but nobody knew it was Yosef because no one ever heard of Yosef at this point. The last thing the guy said was, "I've been feeding you fake intel for years," right? And he admitted to it, right? But no one made the connection that it was Yosef.
Oh wow.
And I don't think anyone's ever heard that said until I just said this now. But it was. I think he's listed under anonymous, right? Something like that. Which is interesting. Anyways, there's just little fun facts from the RV for you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these people, I mean, I kind of heard the name, right? I don't really know. I mean, I couldn't say that I read even anything that they've done. Although I probably may have read it, but, I was so, not even arm's length. It was almost like, a mile away from me, and I just kind of, look at the Narc Chronicles once in a while because it got, some link that took me there. And I'd read something, but I couldn't say I knew Blue Wolf or Yosef or even you, from anything that I saw there. Only one that I would know how I would get to it was Judy Byington. I'd follow like that's like I've lost his name. I used to watch his YouTube, and that's how I kind of got him. Gary Larrabee, that's right. Yeah, I used to, watch him read her stuff, right? and that's how I kind of peer in and see what was going on. Yeah, he was actually my inspiration for doing my own YouTube.
Yeah, hey, Gary Larabee's, I think he means nothing but good things,
Yeah, he's
like
great. He's a good guy, I mean, I said, hey, if Gary can do this, why can't I do video? So come on, guys, if you you guys can do video. It's not difficult.
Well, Zap too, and the whole group there from what do you call Lambda Global or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Their structure, is solid, and Kim likes their structure.
Yeah,
they
were working with Rodriguez, at for part of this. I don't know that I don't know all the detail of the connection between them and that, but I know that they were going through Rodriguez on things, and a lot of the structure of the projects and stuff that Rodriguez had in place. I do know about that. There's a lot of people just really talented people of stature that are organizing this to move forward, right?
Well, it's really fascinating. Kim has taught Zap, which I guess I've heard Jersey. Now Jersey's definitely connected in one of the agencies. Like you can tell by the way he talks and what he talks about, he definitely is in the know. Zap as well. I mean, Zap's like you, kind of. He's been to these, he's been to different, caves and stuff like that. He's seen all types of amazing technology and, stuff like that. And but he's always this is a classic move. Anybody out there suffering for the cause at the hand of the Chinese elders? Because I've talked to many people all over the world about who are really, really knowledgeable and in the know. And what they do is they give them this incredible information, right? And when they see it with their own eyes, like after that, like you basically own them, right? Because like they'll do whatever you say because they've seen you do amazing things, right? So Zap's, he was caught up with the bonds for years, and he was constantly, the bonds are finally going to clear, and so is Benjamin Fulford does that as well with White Dragon Society,
right?
It's all one big conglomeration that is levels and levels and levels below, not realizing that the entire time, because I'm sure in there's lots of good people, by the way. I'm not, I don't.
Sure.
Everything I've ever seen from Zap seems like he's a good guy. Lambda seems like a group of, really prominent guys, right?
Right.
But, they in Fulford, Fulford's questionable. I mean, he's definitely been beat on. He's basically the voice box for the Qual, right? But Like, so he tells the exact story to people, it takes people a while to figure out that's what's going on. But there's all these different factions in the cabal, right? So you have the non-bloodline faction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the Rands, and the Rands, the White Dragon Society, and they're the ones promoting the meritocracy, right? Like, we're going to run on a meritocracy. They're even starting to mention the term meritocracy,
right,
in mainstream media, right? Because that's so you almost immediately know when you're meritocracy. Okay, that's run by the group that's like connected to Rand Corp and the Majestic 12, the secret space program, right? And because they're the ones who think that intellect is the most important thing, right? So when it comes to a meritocracy, it all comes down to who is the smartest,
right,
and then they get to decide what has merit, right? So you got that group, and then you got the bloodline, which is all satanic rituals and crazy, which is what we talk about the most. And then all these different factions, the Chinese elders, are all the same. Everything else is pretty much, they're all working towards the same agenda. But at the very top, there's nothing that connects them anymore, right? They're just a flailing dragon whipping around, throwing temper tantrums, trying to figure out who is the most important, who is the most beloved, of the slaves.
And who's the winner?
I'm sure they don't. Well, we are. We're the winners because because they're the because the reality is their head was cut off, but a new head was ready to go and stepped in. Who was actually for the people.
Right.
So we're the body of the people, so to speak, and they were the body of the dragon. They just thought the dragon was going to win out, and
right.
It didn't.
So we're glad that it has passed away, moved on, disintegrated, not reincarnated. None of that's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? But and we're looking at now, the different choices, and you can see everywhere in the world. Looking at what we're seeing on the political scene, we see Trump we see the things happening on the street level with people standing up, like what you're doing with the vaccines. Our alternative media that's taking shape, and just no one's relying on what's coming through these other systems. So we can see that's all changing all around us. We're here.
Yeah.
We're here right now, and we're making it happen. So.
It's very exciting, when you get to be on the cusp of the greatest change in the history of mankind. I mean, it doesn't happen every day. So,
only once. Just another note. I just to let I forgot to say this to you while we were off air, but I can say it on there. Tui actually was trying to get in to our Zoom yesterday, so he may show up today. Just reminding him.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Good. I mean, that's great news. That means we'll have some things you can report on. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So
hopefully he makes some progress.
So I sent him a message so he can have access now.
Give him the code so you get it.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's different there, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I did. I sent it to him.
Okay, cool. All right.
So
Yeah.
So he should be running to the iPad right now and trying to load Zoom, load Telegram. Hello.
So it happened to him.
Yeah. Let's see if he's gonna.
Well,
let's still see if it shows up. So, but yeah, we are, seeing that these things are happening. It's amazing where we're at, and I'm happy to be here. For our 228th in a row, almost in a row. Got two missing. You heard that? That was a rooster.
The rooster.
Hey Dan, hey Frank.
Yeah, hey, how's it
What's going
going?
on, Tui? Long time no hear, man. Good to hear your voice.
Well, it's first of all, it's good to be here. No, thank you so much for for doing the shows without me and everything that you guys been discussing every week, every day. Yeah, that goes that goes the roost. It's I just want to say hi and good things to everyone on the show, everyone on the live chat, and everyone listening in now, and maybe also in the future. It's good to be here. Thank you so much, Dan, for that invite, and yeah, it's a good time to be alive and to be watching everything that's moving forward and being part of these great changes as it is coming together. And in Fiji, we're very we're happy to be part of this change, and we're doing all we can on our side and try to complete the role that we understand that we have to play. So we've just been out, but not be talking, but our spirit is always united in this change, and simply means that we never left and we always with you. So yeah, thank you so much, Dan. Thank you, Tank. It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, it's glad to have you. So I'm glad to have the rooster back too.
Yeah, man. Here comes the rooster. Love it.
How you doing? How you been, Tank?
Oh, I'm a little battle weary to it, but I'm okay. We're I feel good about the progress that we're making collectively, and the moves that Kim has made are pretty amazing, and and the things that I know about are pretty amazing, and there's a lot more that I don't know about that I can see. So, how's it going down there, man? You get the job done yet, or what?
Yeah, just now that I just want to come in and just give an update. But I've been away, I've been moving around. I'm doing a lot of awareness and just realignment. That's what my role is, especially to the people or to the people here in Fiji, to every different kind of races or the different people that are here, and it's been going really well. Awareness about the Kim and the trust is growing since everything, the economy and all these things that we've been talking about is going to happen, and it's now currently happening, and it's actually helped the change. So I'm thankful to Kim for what he's done. To be able to help, to just to hold on to those funds and which is a great way to cut off the life support of the blood to the old system of to the old solar system. First we wanted to actually help the people here, and I see that if we keep doing that, it's not going to encourage them to change. It's just going to create an environment where they'll be comfortable and there'll be no genuine change from within that could happen. And now that it's getting to the governmental level, our economy is going down. If you listen to our news, and that's all we talk about now, is our currency and our current economic crisis. There's no money in the government, and they don't know. They're trying to get money from everywhere, trying to get money from the United Nations, and then the United Nations tells them that there's no, they won't even be able to survive to pay for their workers when you come the end of this month. And so now they're going to the IMF, and they're going to have the same thing. It's just all going to be statistics, and people blame other reasons to why the crisis is happening or why the economic crisis is happening. But as we all know, us in the know, we understand fully how this change is going to happen. And that's to actually break down the reality that has been implemented for thousands of years, and it has to happen this way. And all we need to do is try and create an environment where the change will not overwhelm people to the extent where to be able to prepare them and then understand that a change and everything that's happening is always from within. All the illusions of money and all this economy doesn't truly exist. They're just illusion of values that we won't be able to change if Kim doesn't do what she has done, and that's to stop the allocations of funds and to hold it for and to try and let the leaders learn about how to get the sovereignty back to the people. And it just brought me to the next steps that we are doing here in Fiji. As I want to share it with everyone, we're trying to actually implement a legal side of sovereignty where we can get and people can understand how to revoke the birth certificate where they're not in a state of birth for all of their life. They can become a living person, and thus not only understanding sovereignty spiritually and fully understanding it, but also can be able to work as private as a, just to understand how structure used to be in the past, where everyone runs on the law of the sea, and now people try to actually to make themselves walk on the law of the land, where people are sovereign and people are connected to the land. There's a lot of awareness and a lot of growth in lessons and all that we've gone through for the past few weeks, few months. Been very excited. The last time that we spoke, I was talking about how we were getting connected to our native trust, and I'm happy that that's coming through. And and I'm happy that at the same time everything is coming through with the trust. There's just a little bit more. There's a little bit more that needs to happen. Alignment that needs to happen with the king and maybe the Fed, and maybe we can we don't have to. We don't have to change the whole thing and hurt a lot of people. We can just repurpose the same structure and then just change the people. And then, instead of hurting people, we can work for the people. And I'm thankful to Trump and everyone the people that are working with him, trying to change this from within. I know they're in the front line, getting all the heat and all the bullets and all the bombs. And so. We are following. Everyone here is following that very, very all the progression, all the. We just want to give a shout out to Trump. Very smart guy. Even though people take him for a person, and not be so. Yeah, and it's amazing how he does what he does and just because they underestimate him, they always fall into his traps and they they get they learn. Everyone, I guess, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. And this, in the US, you guys are right inside the lion's den, that you want to say, in that war. And you guys, it's going well. I've been hearing a lot of things that are happening, and I'm happy. And just an update from this side. That's actually what's happening here. We having, I know, currently the world economic crisis. Our government is facing this crisis, and so people are not getting paid, and they are being threatened not to go on strike. And it's the same story. I'm just waiting for, it's just accelerating the awareness, and people are learning so much and other people here in Fiji understanding about the story about the trust, the United Nation, how it was formed, and how everything is in this state right now, and the change and what needs to be done. And like I always say, this is the first time it's going to be happening on the planet. It's a great, it's a great lesson, and it's learning and doing these things and experiencing it with you guys. And yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Tui. I'm glad.
Well, Tui, I put something up on the screen for the governments there in Fiji, just so that they know who they're dealing with the IMF, right? Because I just always think I feel responsible to try to help the Fijian government out to make good decisions. I also wanted to share this with you. Kim did say this to me about Haiti, and she mentioned, have them opt out of the Paris Climate Agreement immediately, right? Now, I'm just curious, do you know if Fiji is opted in or out of that?
Right now, our government is part of it. And so that's basically the reason. They're all in it together. That's one of the main reasons. He was there to actually chair the meeting that they had here in the Pacific. So yeah, I think it is in it. It's not out of Paris climate agreement.
So now, I dealt with this before I ever met Kim, and then also things since I met Kim, she's shed some light on it. But I might not have this exactly right, but I'm pretty sure this captures the essence of it. So, in the Paris Climate Agreement is basically an agreement pertaining to the global currency reset. So as long as they're opted into that, they're essentially at the behest of the Rothschilds. So you might want to mention that if they just opt out of the Paris Climate Agreement, it might be, I get the impression that potentially that opens a door. It's a choice that's being made between, are you going to go with the liberation of humanity or the enslavement and elimination of humanity? Just
Interesting.
FYI, you might want to throw that at your people. If it comes up.
No, it's good. It's good. Good that you mentioned it. And I hope they should be listening, or they would be listening. It's for now because the government is right now in a state that the people are not they are self-aware, and they're starting to understand that truly understand things about sovereignty. There's a lot of decisions that the government makes that it's not entirely agreed with the people, and the way our government is structured is not really in a state where where people are represented equally from different. It's just from different places like you have there in the U.S. The structure was changed by the government where we only have one constituency where everyone around the country can choose only one person. But in that way, they are not really represented in parliament. So there's a disconnection between the people and the people that are representing, them in parliament because of that disconnection. So a lot of, last election, there was, out of almost 180,000 people that didn't vote or didn't attend or didn't even take part in the election. So it's a big, that's a big, slap on the face to the government. And they just, out of the 600,000 people that did voting, and there's just almost 50% with the opposition. So whatever they did, because the government is so reliant. It's really relying on the way the debt system works, where they get the debt or they loan and they create a budget and then they loan the budget from big financial institution like the World Bank or the IMF or even the Federal Reserve, wherever they get it. That is still the way they do it. Whatever that agreement and all this that the United Nations comes up with, they're always part of it. And so it's really good, in this state where they have to try. We give them, an environment, a room to learn a few lessons that the world has changed, and so that they be able to, stand still and rethink and try to question the reality and how they've been doing things. And now that they see that the nation, they don't have funds and IMF and all this, it's about time that we'll be able to come and talk, and maybe they will be able to hear us easily now. That because they've been so used to doing things in certain ways, and now that there's no money, the pressure will come from the people, and we will be able to change. And I'm already influenced. I'm very influential to the chiefs around, and we're gonna work together to try and heal the country in the best way it can heal, and not let the change overwhelm everyone. Prepare everyone spiritually, and then prepare the awareness, and then create the change, and then just work together. And I'm just glad that that Kim has done what he's done. I know there's a lot of learning too that's taking place with her and the team on how these are turning out to be, and how everything on the planet is changing. And I'm always I know that it's going to come together very soon in the future, in a few weeks, in a few days, in a few months. And there are key people that are already in place that will be able to make the decision that will make this change. The best thing for everyone on the planet, for all these thousands of years. And I have no doubt about that. And so if it takes individual people from different countries or individual leaders, it will happen. And I'm thankful, that's why I was talking about Trump that week. So, yeah, I guess we'll look into it, thanks.
Well, so Tui, what do you think about and by the way, I'm very serious about that. To if the Fijian government or any government out there in the future. Now, this is my interpretation and my feeling based on information I've gathered. President Trump did mention an alliance of 55 countries. Those are all countries that opted out of the Paris Climate Agreement.
Oh.
You can do lots of research to find out that the Paris Climate Agreement is really, it's the economic climate, right? And
yeah.
When Kim mentioned that about Haiti, I have to believe that there's some level there of jurisdiction, right? That, in a sense, would be kind of the others that are here, the Earth Command or whatever, that maybe they have the ability to interact better in places like that. That's my feel about that. That's just my interpretation. Kim has never said that to me. But I know that she did say to opt out of the Paris Climate Agreement. So any of the nations listening who happen to know what I'm talking about, I highly recommend you opt out of that, because as long as you're opted into that, you are the slaves of the Rothschilds. You have allowed them to, you've allowed them to entrap you again in another contract for humanity to be enslaved to them. And you'll go right back into their debt-based system. So, but let me ask you this, Tui.
Yeah.
There appears to be, a galactic declaration of independence, right, for the other groups that were enslaved here, right?
Yes.
And in my understanding from listening to Kim was that they can't leave or open the portals to basically conduct galactic trade with the 5 original tribes and the other areas or planets, whatever, until humanity's free. But that it expires in about 6 months, and then it's open for business, and then humanity's screwed, I guess. I don't know. Basically, everything will just be open to trade, right? So it's now or never, basically, is my point. Is that
Yes.
in line with what you heard?
Yeah. So, like I've just mentioned, in a few weeks, in a few days, I understand that, not understand, that it's gonna come together and there'll be certain changes, in a few days, in a few weeks from now, that will trigger a lot of abrupt changes or sudden changes or very big changes that will happen, and it will be able to move the spiritual energy or the awareness of the people on the planet in a sense, in a way that will be able to wake them up, because that's just simply, in this time right now, on this moment now that we're talking, that's just the thing that is left is just a truly a wake up call for everyone, because of the three-dimensional illusion that everyone is still that's still in, still so still hold so strongly. Then includes the governments and all the structures that has been implemented. The Rothschilds understood, they know the time is up already. But it totally depends on the people and the way people will be able to, stand up for their and stop the oppressors from doing all these things that they're doing. In a few weeks, it might, in a few weeks from now, maybe late this year, at the end of the year, November, some dates in then. There are things that will happen, that might happen. There are probabilities so we are all, a lot of us, and all of you that are connected to the spiritual energy, the fifth element of the planet. There are these times, that, for example, how you have a story in the Bible about Moses, right in the last minute when Pharaoh actually decides to leave them to go, let them go because of because of some very because of their sons dying, all the sons, all the elder sons in the entire.
Right.
And so those are things that it's a similar energy that's going to be happening in because these stories are just certain frequencies of experience that's happening in the past, and that's the way it's drawing up how things will happen in a cycle. And so those things will come up in their way, and all we have to we. We just, we do our own role. We try and complete and try and fully understand why we are here, and try and do whatever we're supposed to do, whatever capabilities that we have. Because in everyone doing that, it will involve the whole humanity as a whole to get the probability that is freedom in front of us in the future. Even understanding what's happening right now with Trump and all this is a very, very big breakthrough that Trump has been doing with trying to actually change the current monetary system and how the illusion of money is failed on the planet, and how he actually can break down the system that the Fed has been implemented for the last 60 years, and to be able to do that in a way that even the Feds themselves are learning, and a lot of them are now understanding that they are hurting the humanity by backing everyone, how your social security is how you guys are backing the fiat currency that you have. And now that we can, move it back to a state where we can be backed by gold, and then eventually, work with the trust to let everyone understand that the reality is much, much different than how how people understand it to be. So I'm hopeful, and I'm always happy that like I've always said, I always mention that this is the first time it's happening. Even in the universe, it's the first experience that this is gonna, what we're doing right now on the planet. This is the first time it's happening, and there are a lot of a lot of civilizations that have already gone through similar experience and changing as they become mature as as an entire race or as an entire planetary body. We have a very unique experience that or a very unique opportunity or wisdom that is in front of us. And so there's no negative, no positive. It will change, and the way we change will, it won't be like any other. So that's why a lot of galactics are, standing still and watching, and they are optimistic. They are also trying to learn as well from us. And so the future is it's always the now that we, and how we decide on this now eliminate the entire probability of what you call, the illusion of the future. So it's always going to be the now that we choose to do the role that we are here to play, and whatever that accumulates into in the future. I'm happy that I'm here experiencing these things with you guys and with everyone, and with everyone on the show. Much love. Thank you so much for being with us in this now. Much love and blessings from Fiji.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, I have another question for you. So, you mentioned these 750,000 hybrids, that I guess the Earth Command group eliminated, and Kim referenced it, and the way she said to me is, they're the byproducts of war, right? The byproducts of war.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for generations that this would happen, that you'd have these hybrids in place to apparently have a lot more control and be able to do a lot more damage, is the impression I got. So what are your thoughts on that, about that happening? I mean, is that something that you're seeing the effects of, kind of an energetic?
Yeah. I guess I can talk a little bit about it. There's a lot of because the way our planetary and our reality is structured. I can actually speak about it fully over here in this channel, which I don't normally do. There's a lot of how our reality is structured is based on entirely on our DNA, and entirely on how we create our reality from within us, our expression of the spiritual energy within us, outside through the body and through the reality outside of us. And to be able to change our reality, there are people from different probabilities of the same reality, the same now. They come here and they intervene, and that's how we'll be able to change problem or change this reality, and come in here and they physically jump into our timeline, and then they intermingle. They breed us with them. They take us. For the past how many years now that your government, the American government, have been having agreements and taking, and there were not just a few, not just one basic species from the future that were coming, different parts from the future, and they're trying to drag us into different probabilities of them, and in a sense where they see us as very young, and they see us as a healing, because it's part of our because it's quite hard to explain it in basic in language. But they were trying. Some of them were coming for help. Some of them were just coming for learning as well, and how it affects the reality. And so by intermingle their the DNA timeline or the DNA time that they come from with our body in this timeline that we're 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and this probability where our humanity is quite young, like still in a baby state. And they were so much advanced, and they were much older, and they've been through this experience, and in a sense they were able to bring the different frequency of reality to our timeline, and they were able to manipulate it. And this is the reason why some of us like him and some of us are here, to be able to keep that timeline in a pure state where it's not affected by them. And by destroying and by taking them away from this timeline, some of them are taken to their own where they come from originally, to be able to heal those different timelines. And some of them were destroyed or killed, taken killed, to be able to not to infringe into the, because it's basically, if you understand what sovereignty and sovereignty of different timelines and sovereignty of species, and how we are supposed to be, not being, mingled with, or that was part of the old agreement. But then, there were certain people that tried to come and accelerate the change that we're doing right now. And 3,000, 2,000 years ago, they were able to do this, and they were able to quicken the frequency of change. And now, even right now, 26,000 years change, and we're in this stage already. These stages takes millions and millions of years to happen, millions of timelines of generations, and millions and billions of generations to change. But 26,000 years, when we're in this stage already, people are self-aware. They are aware of what their connection to the fifth element is, and people are getting to that certain frequencies. The technologies are coming up, and all these different the hybrids, they have India involvement. It was there is always a footprint of whether it's going to be whether it's a jump into the future, or in a sense where because DNA is involved. And so basically that's what Kim was talking about when she talked about destruction of all these different hybrids. And a lot of us even right now are hybrids. and we have we are here to actually protect that the timeline, that accelerated change that's happening right now. And cleaning it up, there are higher beings that look after it, that make sure that there's no ill intention in the different different races that are coming in from different timelines. Because basically they're just all we're just all one big family. We just we just been just because we don't have right now the scientists don't understand how reality works. They think they're from different different planets, but they're all from here, and it's all in this state of now that they come in influence, and so they come in. It's just us from different experience of the same reality, and to us they might be from a bad future where it's going to end up in a negative thing experience, and a positive side. But it's all part of, like I said, the experience is always good. It's all part of this bigger wisdom that everyone on the planet is learning together. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's cool, Tui.
So
That's some good stuff.
So let me jump in here. So a couple of things. One. You spoke about how the existing system is there, and we have to work with it, and it brought up something that was going on, and you just rounded up getting back out into space. Is that Trump had made some had some conversation in the Oval Office this week about going into space, and for there to be commerce in space. And so I'm just wondering if he's extending to go into maritime law, pushing it out into space, that being the mercantile law, admiralty law, and I was wondering, does the rest of space operate under the similar systems? I mean, because once we're leaving this planet, we're now mixing with many other types of systems. What system is out there?
But this is what Kim talked about with the different portals that used to be controlled by the 5 tribes? They would trade intergalactically, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny that he asked about that. The first thing we have to understand is we have to understand how we exist as a race, and that's how to be sovereign as a race. The law of the only problem that we have about admiralty law is just that it's the way it's happening right now on our planet is it's supposed to be different. It's right now everyone is under the sea, and that's a problem that only certain people have the capability to be on the land, and the law of the sea or the admiralty law, it applies to every planet as well. And so right now on the planet here, we are still operating under a system that is not. We're supposed to be on the land. That's why we have to be here. We have to do this, this change, and that has to be a change in our, how you have the public and the private system in our laws and all the different jurisdictions, and how all the different governments have to try and release everyone from becoming, citizens to becoming sovereign beings, and then we become a sovereign race. And when we become a sovereign race, and then we'll be able to become, we understand that we are in a little bit from admiralty kind of where space is the sea, and our planet is our sovereignty is where we are, where we belong, and this is our timeline, and this is our reality. It belongs to us, and that's how our DNA is connected here, and we have to achieve that first, even before we can we have to become land first before the sea becomes space. And so that's what what Kim, and that's what everyone, that's what all our tribes are doing. We're trying to do it because thousands of years we've been treated as small kids, and administration has been done by the government, and we are always on a birth state, and we are still children, and they try to implement all the different religion and all this to keep us in that state where everything is being administrated for us. You don't own anything. You don't. We tell you what to think. We teach you what to learn. We'll tell you. We'll feed you what we want you to. You don't say anything. You don't have a say on what you eat or whatever you do. And so it's
these are like the most abusive parents of all time. Is what you're telling me? That's what's been happening.
Yeah.
We've been left in the control of the most evil, egomaniacal, hate-filled, awful parents to ever exist. The custody, our care, custody, and control has been in the hands of a group who believes that by the constant abuse, erasing our memories, and essentially manipulating us in any way that entertains them, was the best possible option. I'm just curious if there's some kind of, is there any kind of ethical guidelines in the galactic multiverse that says, like, guys, we might have dropped the ball on this one. Maybe we went too far. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, when it comes the rule, I talked about the law of the Ten Commandments. The how everyone is an expression of the living creator. So the parents and us, we're all expressions. It's just a state of awareness that they try to, it's like a school that they put us in. So all these bad things that we're going through, all this, it accelerated our understanding until now. If they didn't intervene, we would be still in a not saying that they've done something good, but the lesson of this planet is that's how the soul learns from timeline to timeline, or from one existence to another existence to another existence. And that's how you are able to become wiser in a very short time, 20,000 years, like a blink of an eye. So it's not totally, if you look at it from individual level, it's they have been enslaving us, and they've been we've been victims for thousands of years, and now now when we learn the lesson, we become mature and we have to be able to go to the stand. And if you look at it from a collective, from a collective state, they're just here just to be guide and to learn, teach wisdom in a very swift manner within thousands of years or just a few lifetimes. And so, from the state, how, but, when the lesson is learned, it's enough. We have to stand and we have to claim our sovereignty that it's enough. We've learned the lesson, we become mature, and now we learn how to change it. And together, individually, families, and then tribes, then together as a community, together as a nation, and then together as a people. And so that's just the point that we are in right now in time. And and the change is it's very interesting, and it's also it's a blessing, and that's always said. So yeah, the sovereignty once it becomes sovereign together, not just individual as a planet, and that's the role King is going to be playing, and that's what the whole entire human race we have to try and help each other to accelerate it. There are ideas.
So this process is the accelerated learning process? I never even considered that, Tui. Wow. I guess I can be grateful. Yeah. We got that.
Well, Tui, are there actually, if our parents are so abusive, can we go stay with our grandparents?
But remember, we must always remember that we all agreed to this change. We all agreed to this experience and learning. But then, we forget when we are born. And so, in our life, in a lifetime, we'll be able to. There's a moment that we learn that you come to understand this, and the expression, all the accelerated learning. Yeah, I'm just talking from a very, very wide perspective, but individually, historically as a nation or as a race, and we've been through a lot, and there's enough lesson that we've learned to make us become wiser than to be stuck on the rudimental illusion that they have given us as a school. But it's like the school is over and we're still trying to be in the classroom, trying to learn a little bit more. But then we're just wasting all the time doing that again. So it's time to stand up and walk out of the school and and create a new, totally new reality where everything you learn in school can be implemented or can be used. So that's what we are in this state, and that's why mining was created. That's why it is how you have gold and silver, the agreement of gold and silver, and which it comes down to the law of the sea, the law of commerce, and which is why we were in a state of war for 26,000 years. And it's just the state of war is that's it. It's a state of learning. That learning about who we are and the divinity. And we can forget ourselves for 26,000 years, and now we can remember. We will be dead. Now we resurrect ourselves. And so everything that has been happening in the past, they were all trying to teach the same thing. Once I was blind, now I see. I'm sinner, now I'm saved, and all this wisdom that we take for we learn every day, we read it every day, but there's a much, much deeper lesson of the soul that it's supposed to teach everyone. So it's just this point in time that it's coming, that's what you call the kingdom of heaven, that it's more apparent and it's coming to reality.
Tui, so you know the story in the Bible, and there's a man, and he's riding on the back of his donkey, right? And he's hitting the donkey stops, right? And he won't move, and he keeps hitting the donkey and beating the donkey, and then the donkey turns back to him, and he says, "Haven't I been a good ass?"
Yeah.
And the donkey talks to him, right? And then
Yeah.
at that moment, the man realizes in front of him is this angel of fire that was, would have killed him, and the donkey will not allow him to move forward, right? Now herein lies the wise ass, right? So in this is the wisdom of the wise ass, right? So, I appreciate that Source has a sense of humor for things like that in the scriptures for us, and I do think it's important to enjoy this process. I find it kind of funny at times when the higher perspective that is always touted, right? From people that have an elevated understanding is always based in kind of, we're learning this and it's all good. I think that holds us back because I don't think that is the wisest perspective. I think the wisest perspective actually is, I know we agreed to this and it's awful. And I think that is the lesson we should be learning. Not, it's all fine, because it's not all fine, right? It's not all fine. It's terrible, right?
It's terrible.
It's a terrible thing.
Nope. It's not fine at all.
Stop it. Stop it already.
To subject yourself to, right? Yeah. So I'm just saying. I was just thinking about it when you were talking. I just appreciate it. Just,
that's a funny story. It's a funny story that you told about. That's about Balaam, and he's a prophet that he wanted to go and he'd been bribed by the Arabic king to go and curse the children of Israel, so that when they have the war, by him cursing the children of Israel, they will lose the war. So he was on his way because he was bribed, paid by gold and stuff like that to sell out his people, and then there was an angel that tried to stop him, but he couldn't see his angel because he was not in that state of awareness. But the donkey can see the angel, and so even though the donkey thought, he started beating him, and because he was trying, and he eventually went and he did stand and then tried to curse the children of Israel. But then when he spoke, everything that he all the curse becomes blessing. And it's a funny story that that you brought up, even though the context that you spoke about it is in that about the S. But the thing is, even though he tried to do all the bad things about the people, the God has a very it's a very it's always a lesson that everything that we do as human beings is entirely, like when we see it from our perspective, maybe it's, we try so hard to control and try to hurt people. But then there's always a way that it becomes a positive lesson for everyone and where everyone can learn from. And so he wasn't able to curse the children of Israel because every word that comes out from his mouth was being changed. Even though to him, he was cursing, but when people outside of him hear, he was actually blessing. And so after the war, the enemy was defeated. I think he still got his gold then. But I know after that, he didn't get his gold because of the king was trying to hear him curse the children of Israel, but he was all blessing and all saying that they will not be defeated and all these good things about them. And so and it's a very interesting story too. So yeah, it's funny you brought this story up.
Right. I just think it's important to pay attention to the wise ass because they sometimes have a lot of knowledge.
And currently I know everyone is suffering. Everyone at this stage here, people are not getting our government is stopping people from as soon as they try to complain or go on strike. They lose their job, and so everyone is afraid to speak up. And even though they're getting their pay cut and all this from the beginning, from that the beginning of the year, since we've been talking since January. So there's a lot of lessons and alignment that's almost gonna burst up into a few weeks ago, our prime minister went to Australia, and they, over there, all the Fijian people from that side were swearing at him. On the roadside, they were protesting and they were swearing at him, and so that's it's a way of putting people and cornering people into a corner where they'll be able to stand and have a chance to actually fight and have the courage to be able to stand. So for us right now in Fiji, I think that's what is happening right now in the current situation. People are being cornered into a corner. They don't have no more choice but to either give up or to stand. So the choice is entirely up to us, and I hope we will choose to stand and choose to work together and change our families and our entire country as well. The chiefs and I are working on the paperwork on actually how to do the sovereignty legally and get everyone in a state of private state where we would be able to be unincorporated and what they call non-profitable, unincorporated, and a private, where we become a sovereign private of the tribes and everyone. And so we're working on that. People are learning. There's a lot of things to learn, a lot of awareness to share, and we're here and we're moving. We're looking forward to moving forward with everyone, with you guys, with Tank, with Kim. And with Dan as well. Dan, we are waiting, and anytime now that we want to come over to the Philippines.
Oh, I thought I'm going to come to the Fiji first.
What?
I thought I'd come over to Fiji first.
I don't know. We're coming there to have a meeting with the trustees of the people that have the money that was invested by our ancestors. So, and then we'll be able to get everyone to Fiji and celebrate and work on the next step forward.
Awesome. I just want to add one more thing to this, about smartass. A lot of people, when I was...
Wise ass.
Wise ass.
Oh, okay, wise ass, but smart ass, is just along the same lines, right? So...
Yeah, he was a smart ass. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I have been accused of being a smartass, and I would say, well, my ass has an IQ of 180.
Yeah.
So it's like a compliment to you.
Yeah.
So that
means you are a smart ass. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it kind of confirms it, right? It kind of confirms it, just the statement. So, but yeah, I thank you, Tui, for joining us, and that's it would be good to see you here, and I'm anxious to be there, and I still want to beat Tank to getting to Fiji first.
Yeah, it's time for Tank to take a break,
Hey, Tui, I swear, if you get Dan to Fiji before me, man, you and me are flawless when I get there. When I get there, I'm gonna put you in a headlock.
Oh, you better give him permission to touch your head then.
I know. I'm gonna show up and be like, I can't believe you did this. I can't believe you did this.
Do you roll?
Do I what?
Do you roll?
Roll like wrestle?
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah. I was a college wrestler. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, it's good. It's gonna be good. We can do some rolling because I'm an instructor in jiu-jitsu here in Fiji.
Yeah, I know. I really done that. Yeah, it's cool.
I won't come for dinner that day. All right. So,
all good.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, Dan. Thank you, Tank. Thank you, everyone on the live chat. Thank you so much for the questions. And it's always a blessing to be here speaking and sharing with you guys and talking about the reality that's happening. Thank you so much, everyone that's listening in live. and also in the future. We here in Fiji, your brothers and sisters, we are waiting to actually move forward, and we are ready. And thank you very much, love and blessing from all of us in Fiji, and to you and to everyone on the planet, wherever you may be, wherever you're listening in, much love and blessing.
Yes.
Thanks, Tui.
Yeah, thank you, Tui. Yeah.
Well, Dan, what do you think, man?
Oh, that's good. Good to have Tui on, and good. We're progressing. Well, on my parting words, I like to thank those that have gave me some donations. I'm still in need. My bills are pretty much all due tomorrow. I'm a little bit of ways from my target. So if anyone, I was thinking of jumping in and going to either directly to PayPal, that would be wonderful, or you can join for monthly at www.wga.love, that website, and contribute on a $8.88 a month basis or $1.11 basis. Anything like that does help us keep going with this, and I appreciate everything that everyone has done so far, and thank you also, Tank, for everything you're doing, and we'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Dan, as always. Greatly appreciate it. And everyone, have a great night. And please pay very careful attention to the wise asses in your life. They might have secrets that you need to know. All right.
Good one.
Talk to you later, Dan.
Peace from Fiji. Peace from Fiji.
Peace. That feels so good to hear him say that. Peace from Fiji. Love it. Later, everybody.
Love and blessings from the Philippines.